For 40 years, the largest coal plant in the American West sat on Navajo land. It burned Navajo coal dug by Navajo miners, and it sent electricity to Phoenix, Tucson, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. DNA organizers put it plainly, their coal made the lights on the Las Vegas Strip visible from space. And the entire time, roughly 1 in 3 homes on the Navajo Nation had no electricity at all. Not reduced service? None. No refrigerator, no lights after dark, no way to charge a phone. Today, about 13,000 Navajo households still live without power, 3/4 of every unelectrified home in the United States. This is not a conspiracy. Nobody hid it. The smokestacks were 775 feet tall. Here is what actually happened and what real energy independence costs. The honest number, not the fantasy. This infrastructure gap spans 27,000 square miles of high desert territory. Out of roughly 55,000 total homes on the Navajo Nation, those 13,000 families without power represent 3/4 of all unelectrified households in the country. It is a stark national imbalance. While only about 1.4% of American households overall live without electricity, that number rises to 14% for Native American families. This disparity persists in communities where the median household income is about $30,579, roughly 41% of the national average. Behind these numbers lies a demanding daily routine. Without a connection to the power grid, there is no home refrigeration. Families cannot safely store fresh food or temperature-sensitive medicines like insulin. Many of these same households lack running water. To survive, families must make hour-plus drives each way to a community well or water station, fill 250-gallon plastic tanks, and haul the heavy loads back over miles of unpaved dirt roads. These families are forced to pay high prices for gasoline and generator fuel just to maintain basic daily survival. This situation is a direct consequence of decades of systemic underinvestment that left these communities off the national grid entirely. Just outside Page, Arizona, on leased Navajo land, sat the Navajo Generating Station. With a net capacity of 2,250 megawatts, it was the largest coal-fired power plant in the western United States. The complex ran on coal mined at the Kayenta mine on Black Mesa, which straddled Navajo and Hopi trust lands. For 40 years, this supply chain generated massive currents, but the power bypassed local communities. Instead, the electricity traveled hundreds of miles to power the neon lights of Las Vegas, the suburbs of Los Angeles, and the cities of Phoenix and Tucson. It fueled the Central Arizona Project, a water pumping system that lifted Colorado River water 3,000 feet over mountain ranges, allowing Phoenix to expand into the 5th largest city in the country. To local Dine and Hopi residents, the transmission lines towering over their homes were a constant reminder of exclusion. Advocate Nicole Horseherder argued that a true transition must bring mutual benefits to the communities that provided the fuel. The system ended in November 2019 when the plant shut down because cheaper natural gas and solar made coal uneconomic. In December 2020, 3 775-foot smokestacks were demolished in a series of coordinated explosions, ending $40 million in annual tribal tax revenue and cutting nearly 1,000 jobs. The geography of the high desert makes traditional grid expansion prohibitively expensive. Extending power lines to a single remote Navajo home averages $40,000 and can easily climb to $50,000 as the distance from the existing network grows. This high cost is not just a matter of purchasing physical utility poles, copper wire, and heavy transformers. More than 1/4 of the total expense is consumed entirely by federally required permitting, environmental assessments, and administrative paperwork. Because Navajo land is held in federal trust, any new infrastructure project must pass through a tangle of overlapping jurisdictions. A simple utility line extension requires sequential sign-offs from the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Bureau of Land Management, tribal authorities, and local utility companies. This bureaucratic friction stretches permitting timelines from 6 months to as long as 3 years before physical construction can even begin. When multiplied across every off-grid household on the reservation, the total remaining cost to fully electrify the Navajo Nation is estimated at $998 million to $1 billion. This enormous deficit is the direct result of decades of chronic underinvestment and historical policies that treated tribal land as a resource base to fuel distant cities rather than a place where people actually lived and raised their families. This grid gap was not the result of a hidden conspiracy. The systems of exclusion operated out in the open, embedded in the dry arithmetic of utility rules and federal land management. It didn't take a secret. It only took nobody deciding it mattered. In 2019, the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority and the American Public Power Association launched Light Up Navajo, a mutual aid initiative to systematically reduce the reservation's power backlog. This program brings in volunteer utility crews from municipal utilities across 24 states. During targeted campaign weeks, these visiting line workers donate their labor to erect wooden poles, string miles of wire, and mount heavy transformers. By offsetting these labor costs, the initiative reduces the direct cost of a single home connection to under $8,000. Since its launch, the campaign has connected more than 1,000 homes to the grid, pushing the number of unelectrified Navajo households below the historic baseline. Yet grid extension is not the sole solution. For homes situated more than 20 miles from the nearest power line, extending physical wires becomes economically unviable. In these isolated locations, standalone solar plus battery systems with lithium-ion storage offer a faster, more practical alternative. Native LED organizations are currently deploying these off-grid systems, installing solar arrays and battery banks to power appliances and medical equipment. Viewers can directly assist these efforts by donating to the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority's Mutual Aid Fund, which directly covers the cost of connection materials for families still waiting in the dark. These contributions buy physical wire, transformers, and meters, converting donated labor into immediate power. While off-grid solar offers a path forward, the economics of self-supply are often misunderstood. The average United States household pays a bit over $100 a month for electricity, even as utility rates rise faster than general inflation. Replicating that level of standard grid service independently is highly expensive, with real whole-home off-grid systems typically costing between $15,000 and $40,000 before incentives. A $300 budget secures only a small panel and battery setup, enough to power LED lights, a radio, and phone charging. Wind is rarely a viable shortcut. Small home wind projects require consistent wind, real tower height, permitting, and regular maintenance, and they almost always underperform solar at a similar cost. True energy independence requires a logical order of decisions. Homeowners must first cut consumption, then add solar panels, and only then consider batteries. Never connect homemade generation directly to house wiring. An improper connection causes backfeed, sending high voltage onto downed lines and electrocuting utility workers. Any panel work requires a licensed electrician, permits, and utility approval. Storage systems carry chemical risks. Lead-acid batteries vent explosive hydrogen gas, while lithium systems can suffer thermal runaway and ignite. Do it yourself. Wind turbines fail through falling towers or thrown blades, and generators kill through carbon monoxide. Off-grid solar charging a battery for lights and phones is a great weekend project. Anything that touches your house panel needs a licensed electrician. That's not gatekeeping. That's the line between a hobby and a funeral. Today, volunteer crews are shrinking the energy gap, but true justice is a debt yet unpaid. Verify the data through NTUA and High Country News. Access our companion guide below and join us next time as we explore claypot cooling. Subscribe to keep learning.